So, as many of you know, and hopefully many of you experienced, March 22nd, we were treated to a very special screening thanks to Fathom Events and Toho Studios of Tokyo S.O.S. on its theatrical debut, not even 5 months after Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Also, with the new short Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex. For me, this was kind of an expected event, but I did not expect to get it as soon as we did. I figured if anything, they would probably save it for Godzilla Day this year and then do the same next year for whatever they have planned for that, which that I'll get into a little bit later in the video. But as many of you know, Tokyo SOS, well, the Kiryu Saga in general is for me the high point of the Millennium series. This being my favorite of the Millennium series and arguably my favorite of the overall franchise. Ever since I saw it the first time, this immediately became one of my favorites, plus the Godzilla design. So I eagerly snatched tickets up, and I can safely say that for childhood me, this was a dream come true beyond the Godzilla against Mechagodzilla showing from last year. I can tell that 8-year-old me was probably grinning ear to ear watching this. And for good reason. We were treated to a very cool trivia round prior to the film. Basically, it was like a 50-50 divide of questions and little tidbits about the film that, some people may not have known, like that Anguirus was originally supposed to be in place of Kamibus, but because he's a fan favorite kaiju, Toho felt that it might be in poor taste to kill off one of their fan favorites. And some other questions of like Godzilla toy related stuff, Godzilla franchise related stuff. And then the film as well was presented in its actual Japanese cut, no English title overlays, which was a welcome shift for me because some of you may not know, but I own the film on a Japanese Blu-ray, which I will do a video on later on in the show or in the upcoming weeks. But it was nice to not have to deal with the overlay. Obviously, this was presented in the Japanese audio with English subtitles, and I gotta say, it was a blast. For many people, this was the first time getting to see a Millennium Godzilla film in the theaters. These were pretty much direct to video releases back in the early 2000s. So getting to see these films in the theaters was a very welcome change. And I must say that this was, like I said, for me, a blast, especially. Um, Now, there is one other aspect of this showing that I feel we should touch on, and that is the new short, Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex. This kind of caught me off guard that they opted for this short, particularly because we got Godzilla vs. Hedorah, the Suitmation short, last time, and I figured they would follow suit with the new Godzilla vs. Gigan short that had just come out on Godzilla Day. Alas, we were not given that. However, it kind of puts me in a point of what's next of what they're planning for these shorts because we obviously it was nice to see them pay tribute to Godzilla vs. Gigan since that did celebrate its 50th last year. But I was kind of hoping for the Final Wars Godzilla versus the Redux Gigan suit in that awesome Suitmation short. Not that the Gigan Rex short is bad or lackluster. It's impressive, and I must say I like what they did with this as well. Just kind of like a little curiosity side of me wants to know, why did they opt for that? Other than the fact that it was, I believe, from what I've read, sanctioned by Toho. But it still leads me to believe that there's stuff that they're planning leading up to. I mean, obviously this year is the 50th anniversary of Godzilla versus Megalon, but next year we celebrate the 50th of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the 70th of the franchise, the 40th for Return of Godzilla, the 60th for Godzilla Mothra versus Godzilla, and the 30th for Space Godzilla, and the 20th for Godzilla Final Wars. So I'm curious to see what we might get next year. I have a feeling they might try something with relating to the original Mechagodzilla film. But all in all, this was a very, very surprising but eagerly awaited event for me. Like I said before, as somebody that never got to see any of these films in the theaters and pretty much dealt or grew up with the DVDs of them, which sufficed at the time, it was nice to finally be able to see both of my favorite films from the Millennium series on the big screen. So let me know down in the comments what you guys thought, and I will catch you guys in the next review.